Hey, look, it's 9:30 and I actually got on time. 9:30 Eastern Railroad time. I like to call it another kind of stealth appearance before Christmas. I'm not necessarily going to do a whole Christmas program this evening. I think you guys are hearing plenty of Christmas music these days. And so I might do something Christmassy and I might do something a little different. Anyway, I'm glad to see you. I'm here in Bucks County. I've got my 16-year-old Martin. My 16-year-old son is in the next room. So I guess they were both born the same year. And it's a very special guitar. It came my way by virtue of a friend of mine, Robert Sands, who kind of found it for me. Mess around a little with a Christmas song. I never play this song on a steel string acoustic. Will that work? I have to adjust the camera a little. Hang on here. You see my Les Paul on the couch sitting next to me. That's not a guitar you see every day. Maybe you've never even seen me play that one. But I'm just thinking about doing my favorite Christmas song of all time to play. By the way, James Taylor has a version of this. Not only does he have a version, but he's got a video on his website of him teaching us how to play this particular Christmas song, and happy to say it's quite different than my version, so there's no carryover there. If you happen to stumble across this by the luck of the draw, you're surfing Facebook and you see me, you could jump in and say something. I have a comment section. I have a chat room. I'd love to see you. And I have a virtual tip jar tonight in case you want to support the cause. Even if you're watching this in a rerun, that link still will work. And here's the song. The aforementioned song. my friend Livingston Taylor has this funny bit he does about the Guitar Olympics. And the Guitar Olympics, what is that? That's the guitar moving when I do that. Jeez. The Guitar Olympics. And actually the funny thing is he uses my name in that skit that he does. He says, well, Chip, we're here today, and Livingston Taylor is competing, blah, blah, blah. Is he going to make the dismount? He says. And on that previous song that I just played, God Rest Ye Merry, comma, Gentlemen, here's the intro, the warm-up. But the dismount is... Last night I got it wrong. I went. So tonight I was more careful. Well, he said he wasn't going to play Christmas songs. And now look what I'm going to do. I'm going to play my guitar version of Silent Night for you. And that's the name of my Christmas record, by the way. Oh, hey, let me think for a minute. I want to tell you. This isn't on the record, but I'm going to do a medley tonight of Silent Night and another song, and I won't give away what the other song is yet. But what I want you to know is that both of these songs were originally played on guitar. Their first performance. Let me fix my fingernail for a minute here. So, this kind of gets emotional, this little medley. You'll see why. You'll see why. know the story that Silent Night was written in Austria in the 1800s. The church organ broke down, and so the composer played it for the choir to sing on Christmas Eve on guitar. Hi, Boyd. Hi, Paula, and presumably Jim. But did you know that the Old Rugged Cross was performed by its composer George Bernard, who was a pastor in Michigan? Don't worry, nobody else is going to use this bottle. And George Bernard went to his neighbor's kitchen out there in Michigan and said, I just wrote a song. And on his guitar, he played the Old Rugged Cross. It's the juxtaposition there, isn't it? That's kind of a little emotional, kind of a little shocking. The Christian religion is about the fact that God came to earth on a mission, and the mission was to die. A tiny little discrepancy there in the Martin. So this is a rosewood guitar. This is a very special guitar. It was designed by Norman Blake, and it's the Norman Blake model. And it's a 12-fret 00028. But that's where the resemblance ends, because most 00028s are 14 frets. And when you make this guitar into a 12-fret, it changes all the bracing inside. So everything is shifted forward. It's also got a slotted headstock. Can you see that? That's called a slotted headstock. He was very specific about what he wanted. Alan is here. Alan LaBeouf. I was just talking to Kevin today, Al, and I told him about the party and what he missed, and not to rub it in, but he missed quite the finest jape of the season. What is a jape? It's a joke. It's a witticism. And Alan in the Pollyanna got a stuffed chicken leg, a stuffed drumstick. I think somebody took it from him, so he didn't end up with it. But somehow in the sing-along, I started singing chicken legs instead of Jingle Bells, and I made up a lyric on the spot about dashing through the snow with chicken legs. And then Alan picked up the ball and started to sing Chicken Leg Rock. Chicken leg, chicken leg, chicken leg rock. And the moment, this harmonic convergence, so to speak, where we both sang the same lyric together. We said, giddy up, chicken horse, pick up your feet. And then we lost it. We had a hard time continuing. This next song is not a Christmas song. It's a George Harrison song, and it's got some kind of anniversary going. The anniversary, Facebook is great for anniversaries, aren't they? The anniversary of the invention of the Dixie Cup. It was 120 years ago that the Dixie Cup was invented, whatever. But they want to make note of every single musical occurrence, and this song had a anniversary or a birthday recently, whatever. And George wrote it, and he said something like, there was a quote, it was an interesting quote. It said, I could write Baby, Baby, I Love You for the rest of my life and rake in the royalties. But he said, I really want to say something now when I write a song. But be careful, songwriters. When you set out to say something, That's often a recipe for writer's block. And Randy Newman said in an interview with the great Paul Zollo out in L.A., he said, sometimes you just have to write, she was my girl, she was my whole world. You know, you just have to, that doesn't even rhyme, which was his point. Here's this George Harrison song. Isn't it a pity? Isn't it a shame? How we break each other's hearts and cause each other pain. How we take each other's love without thinking anymore. Forgetting to give back. Isn't it a pity? Some things last so long. How do I explain? Not too many people can see we're all the same. And because of all their tears, their eyes can't hope to see the beauty that surrounds them. Isn't it a pity? And then it has a long fade. It's kind of copied from the ending of Hey Jude, you know. There's no more verses. It's just a short, eloquent meditation on humanity. Oh, almost all of you, at this point, if you're a music fan, you know the story of, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, right? Or at least part of it. George was talking about synchronicity and thinking about coincidence and cosmic coincidence. And he said, I'm going to write a song from the very next thing I see. And whatever I read, he pulled a book at random out of his library shelf, and he read something about gently weeping. And he wrote While My Guitar Gently Weeps. And he used Eric Clapton. He was driving him into London. He said, I want you to play on this song. And Eric Clapton's reply was, what? Did anybody know? Eric Clapton said, nobody plays on Beatles songs. And he said, well, I've got a guitar for you in the trunk, and I'd like you to play on it. It's my song, and they have to do what I say. Of course, the other Beatles were thrilled to have Clapton play on the song. And he played this red Les Paul, and the red Les Paul was called Lucy. And why is it named Lucy? Anybody know? Because he named it after Lucille Ball with her bright red hair. Now, that guitar had started life as a gold top, a 50s gold top Les Paul. It was owned by Rick Derringer. This is part of the story you might not know. And Rick Derringer wanted it in red. And when he was on tour, he stopped in the Gibson factory in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and he had them refinish it in this beautiful red color. He says as he punctuates his little speech with blues licks here. By the way, if you're there and you have a favorite Christmas, not song, but I want to know people's favorite Christmas specials. I'm really obvious, and mine is Charlie Brown. Although, you know what? I like the Little Drummer Boy, too, with, what's her name? Greer Garson narrating it. I've always liked that. Somebody told me the other day, last night, a girl working at Giant said her favorite one was the one with Heat Miser, which I think that was an original choice. I think it was the Year Without a Santa Claus or some bizarre thing. You guys know that. But if you're still listening in there, you feel like it, tell me your favorite Christmas special. Anybody vote for the Grinch? That's one of the greats. Rick Derringer said that after he got the guitar refinished in red, he never liked it again after that. He said it didn't play the same, it didn't feel the same, and so he felt like he had made a mistake. And I guess he sold it to George Harrison or sold it to Manny's in New York City, I believe, maybe. And George might have bought it there on a trip to America. So that original Les Paul had been a gold top. It turned into the beautiful red finished Lucy. Eric Clapton played it on While My Guitar Gently Weeps. And this is a Les Paul from the 90s. And this is called a Studio, a Les Paul Studio. And, you know, I'm supposed to be embarrassed to play this because it's really like the budget end of the Les Pauls. Oh, wait a minute. Is it called the Studio? Yeah. And I love it. It's one of the best Les Pauls I've ever played. I'll play a little blues for you. Let me get a little more oomph. Songs. How does it start? Alexa, play My Home Isn't in This World by Chip Murgott and the Stingers.
This World Is Not My Home by the Stingers on Amazon Music.
Alexa, fast forward 30 seconds. Nah, that's not it. Alexa, stop. They'll take me off the air. soon if I keep playing something on her. Yeah, it goes like this. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know. I don't know how I got here. But I sure enough know. My home isn't in this world. No, 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 no. People on the street don't see me, or else I'm just looked down on. I can't stand up straight. Like a tree the wind has blown. My home isn't in this world. I feel so alone. There must be something better somewhere than where I've been before. A brighter light that's shining than what I've seen before, yeah. My home isn't in this world. Anymore, no. My home isn't in this world. This is what I do a lot late at night. Hi, Denise. Denise, you're in Texas. Tell us what the weather is like tonight in Texas. blues is the hardest kind of song to write. I had 14 verses for that song approximately. Couldn't get it right. One night I was in my parents' farmhouse in Hunterdon County, just bouncing off the walls in the kitchen, a fire in the fireplace. And I decided to go out. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't finish that song. Couldn't get it right. Hi, Heidi. Nice to see you, sis. And I went to Lambertville, New Jersey. Beautiful town. By the way, tomorrow night on Jeopardy, one of the contestants is going to be a woman from Lambertville. So if anybody knows her, let me know. I think her name is Rebecca. And I'm walking the streets alone in this lonely feeling of my home isn't in this world, and looking for inspiration. And I happen to know that the great singer Maria Muldaur was singing at John and Peter's in New Hope that night. And it was late, and her set was probably over, but I knew the guy. Oh, this was the greatest guy, the doorman, the front man. He was a legend in New Hope. His name was Ricky, and some of the New Hope people will remember him fondly. Sadly, he's passed away. Jamie's in the house. Hi. You. And you didn't know him, Jamie, but John and Peter's is a legendary club, and Maria Muldaur was playing there. And I'm walking the streets in the dark, looking for inspiration on the song that I just sang you, My Home Isn't in This World, which is a title track of an album that I made in 1989. And I thought, I'll stop in. I'm not going to pay the ticket price. The show's almost over. And I went to the front door, and there was Ricky. He said, oh, hi, Chip, come on in. You know, she's almost done. I got a seat for you in the back. What a great guy. So he got me a seat in the dark, and Maria did one last song, and the crowd went crazy. And then her band went outside on the street, and she's like, get my band back in here. We're going to do an encore for these people. And the audience is screaming, loving her. By the way, that day, during the day, I saw her in the drugstore, and oh gosh, I'll tell you more about that later. It was a terrible, terrible encounter, and I tried to establish my non-existent credibility with her in 30 seconds, and you can't do that. I don't know, she might have been buying Tampax or something. Anyway, there I am, sitting in the dark, looking for the key. And I was, in fact, not even sure if I should be pursuing this song idea. You know, you don't know the kinds of insecurities you go through. You're like, should I even be wasting all this time? I wrote 14 verses on this thing. I'm killing myself over this blues. And I'm sitting in the dark, and Maria Muldaur comes back on stage. And I'm thinking to myself, she's got a repertoire of like 1,000 songs. She does songs from every genre. What is she going to sing as the final song, as the encore in New Hope, Pennsylvania tonight that I came out of my farmhouse to see? And she says, and I was riveted to the spot, she goes, I'm going to do one of the greatest blues of all time. There must be a better world somewhere. And that's what she did as the last song as I was pursuing this My Home Isn't in This World idea. And I went home and wrote the rest of it. This is my new Christmas song. I'm just going to keep singing it until someone tells me me to stop. Snow blanket on the sidewalk underneath my feet, yeah. Excited little children up and down the street. This Christmas, everything is new. 'Cause it's my first Christmas with you. It feels like my very first Christmas, yeah. It's my first Christmas with you, yeah. Sweet chapel bells are ringing, singing soft and low. Friends wearing scarves and mittens stop and say hello. This Christmas, everything is new. 'Cause it's my first Christmas with you. I feel like a kid again. It's my very first Christmas with you. You've given me everything, love I've never known, and in our short time together, how our love has grown, and it keeps getting stronger. It's my first Christmas with you. It feels like my very first Christmas. It's my first Christmas with you. Okay, thank you for listening to that. I appreciate that. And there's James Flynn checking in. Thanks, James. I always like to hear from you, and I appreciate your comments. I hope you guys are relaxed, enjoying, crashing in front of the tree with maybe an adult beverage, who knows. Don't get too stressed out about all this. I went to New Hope today to try to do a little bit of shopping. What a dumb thought that was, to try to find a parking place, and it's impossible to find a parking place. So I just kept moving, kept driving, went somewhere else. I just have a couple of more songs this evening, and one's an original. Let me think. I had something I wanted to say. For those of you who didn't check in. Oh, what I did want to say, thank you, Paula and Jim. I wanted to say there is a virtual tip jar. Somebody said the other day, how do I contribute? And that's how. You can scroll up and find it. And there's actually two ways tonight. One is Venmo and the other is PayPal. So if the spirit moves you and you want to keep me on the air, so to speak, I'll keep coming back happily to play for you. I'm playing a concert at the Jewish Community Center on Saturday, January 7th. So that's going to be around 8 o'clock. I think it's open to the public. I'll be telling my typical collection of stories and playing covers and originals. Christmas music will be done by then. Now, on this Martin, it's not old yet. It's 16 years old, so it's just old enough to drive this guitar. But do you know that Bob Taylor, the brilliant guitar maker, said that in his experience, and there's lots of people who would disagree with him, and I'm one of them, but in his experience, and we certainly have to give his opinion some credence, he said a guitar gets as good as it's going to get after 15 years. And he said that's as good sounding as it's going to get, and then it's just very, very subtle refinements. But some people I know would disagree with him in the sense that if you play a Martin from 1938, for example, it's really quite an experience. It's really quite different sounding than a guitar that's 15 or 20 years old. But Bob is a brilliant man, and I'll think about that. So on this Martin tonight for you, I'll play this little medley that I love to play. I almost always play it on my classical guitar, but it's well worth playing on this guitar. when you play a version that you love and then you don't stick the ending. You screw up the ending. Well, you'll forgive me. Tonight I'll finish, and I have another Christmas song, another Christmas original, and I just don't have the confidence to sing it tonight. It's got some real heavy-duty changes in it. It's called Angel in the Christmas Play. So maybe I'll do that tomorrow night for you, and I'll jump back on here. I'd love to get your thoughts on it, but it's got a really Paul Simon-esque bridge, and I can't do it tonight, I don't think. But I'll do this song of mine that I really want to sing it for you. And one of the first people I ever played this song for was my friend Livingston Taylor. I played it for him backstage, and he is a brutally frank judge and arbiter of originals and original materials. So you have to have nerves of steel when you play him a song. He's not going to mince words. And at the end of this one, he said, well, that's as cute as a button. He said, and that's high praise from him. So I sing it for you tonight, and then maybe I'll see you tomorrow night if you're around and trimming the tree or whatever. This is called I'll Remember You. And there's actually 2 versions of this available on Spotify and on iTunes, in case it strikes your fancy. As the shadows fall and the moon is high and the stars come into view, I'll sit on my porch and I'll fold my hands and I'll remember you. You were there for me in a special way, more than anyone I knew. And when the sun comes up and warms the day, I'll remember you. Like a beautiful song I heard when I was alone and blue. When the day is done and my sight grows dim and the colors fade from view, when I can't recall even my own name, I'll remember you. I'll remember you. All right. God bless you. Hi, Judy. Have a great night. Maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow evening. Watch this space.